Good morning, Santa Barbara. In the news today, a spokesperson for the Duke of Sussex announced last month that
to advance a number of his patronages and philanthropic initiatives. The Prince's spokesperson also shared that
Harry
the
will be
royal
in New York City during the UN General Assembly High-Level Week, runs September 23 through September 27.
Former Secretary Hillary Clinton and Clinton Foundation Vice Chair Chelsea Clinton announced on September 5 that the Duke of Sussex will be among the leaders from across government, business, philanthropy, and civil society who will participate in the meeting this month.
The work of his and wife, the Duchess of Sussex. Meghan Markle's their non-profit organisation, the Archie.
Just got a message from my cousin Juan Pablo, who works at LaGuardia Airport. He told me that the crown has landed. Yes, the crown has landed. Prince Harry is in New York City, baby. The Duke of Sussex is here. As you all know, it's a very busy.
Good morning, New York. This is Carlos Perez coming to you. It's Q102.5, New York City, baby. There's a royalty already in the city. It seems like the eagle landed early this morning.
In the heart of southern Africa lies Angola, a country with a rich history and a painful past. For centuries, Angola was a Portuguese colony, its people subjected to foreign rule and exploitation. But in 1975, after a long struggle for independence, Angola finally broke free from colonial chains. However, this hard-won freedom came at a terrible cost. As the Portuguese departed, they left behind a power vacuum that quickly erupted into a brutal civil war. Three main factions, each representing different ethnic groups and ideologies, fought for control of the country. The MPLA, UNITA, UNITA, and FNLA turned their guns on each other, and soon foreign powers joined the fray, turning Angola into a Cold War battleground. In this chaotic conflict, a sinister weapon became ubiquitous: the landmine. Cheap, effective, and devastatingly cruel. Landmines were scattered across Angola like deadly seeds. The warring factions used them to protect territories, deny access to resources, and sow terror among civilian populations. By the time the war ended in 2002, an estimated 10 to 15 million landmines laid hidden beneath Angola's soil, waiting silently for unsuspecting victims. Enter the Halo Trust, a non-profit organization dedicated to removing the deadly legacy of war. Founded in 1988, Halo began its work in Angola in 1994, tackling the enormous task of clearing these hidden killers. The Halo Trust, founded in 1988, is a global humanitarian organization dedicated to clearing landmines and unexploded ordnance in post-conflict zones. Its mission is to restore land to communities affected by war, allowing them to rebuild their lives free from the dangers of landmines. Over the years, HALO has expanded its operations to over 25 countries, including Angola, Afghanistan, and Cambodia, making it one of the leading organizations in landmine clearance.
It's an enormous privilege for me to have been invited here to Angola in order to assist the Red Cross in its campaign to ban once and for all anti-personal landmines. It is my sincere hope that by working together in the next few days, we shall focus world attention on this vital, but until now largely neglected, issue.
In January of 1997, the landmines were the furthest thing from our brains. We were getting ready for the inauguration of Bill Clinton's second term. We were wrapped up in our own domestic politics. Then all of a sudden, every channel, all the news in the United States, and it was Princess Diana, just such a riveting presence to see the most famous woman in the world in one of the most dangerous places on the planet. As somebody who works for HALO, who's donned that same body armor that she wore on that day, and has taken a step into a minefield and felt that terror and trepidation for the first time, I am sure that it was terrifying for her. But I know that she understood the importance of her taking that step, understood that she could bring this issue to a world stage. Diana walked through that minefield, mobilized the entire international community around this tragic threat, and as a result, most of the minefields that we were dealing with in 1997 are gone, and we owe that all to her. Now that legacy is being carried on with her son, Prince Harry.
Ma'am, a government minister at home has said you're a loose cannon by supporting this campaign. Do you have any reaction to that?
Virginia, I'm only trying to highlight a problem that's going on all around the world. That's all.
I think there's no doubt at all that the advice that Diana, Princess of Wales, has been given is naive and lacking. I think that there are certain areas that her people don't fully understand, and that's the difference, for example, between anti-personnel mines and anti-tank mines. If she'd been better briefed, she could have actually made a lot more of this.
Start to go again.
Ladies and gentlemen, I must begin by saying how warmly I welcome this conference on landmines, convened by the Mines Advisory Group and the Landmine Survivors Network. It is so welcome because the world is too little aware of the waste life, limb, and land which anti-personnel landmines are causing amongst some of the poorest people on Earth. Indeed, until my journey to Angola earlier this year, of which I'm going to speak this morning, I was largely unaware of it too. For the mine is a stealthy killer. Long after conflict is ended, its innocent victims die or are wounded singly in countries of which we hear little. Their lonely fate is never reported. The world, with its many other preoccupations, remains largely unmoved by a death roll of something like 800 people every month, many of them women and children. Those who are not killed, and they number around 1,200 a month, suffer terrible injuries and are handicapped for life. I went to Angola earlier this year in January with the British Red Cross, a country where there are 15 million landmines in a population of 10 million, with a desire of drawing world attention to this vital but hitherto largely neglected issue. Some people chose to interpret my visit as a political statement, but it was not. I am not a political figure, and as I said at the time, and I'd like to reiterate now, my interests are humanitarian. That is why I felt drawn to this human tragedy, That is why I wanted to play my part in working towards a worldwide ban on these weapons.
Princess Diana brought global attention to the Angola's plight and the landmines issue at large. The beloved royal, known for her humanitarian work, shocked the world in that powerful moment when she walked through a partially cleared minefield, protected only by a visor and body armor. She met with landmine survivors, many of them children, and listened to their stories of loss and resilience. Diana's visit was more than a photo opportunity. It was a clarion call to the world. Her advocacy for a global ban on landmines was seen as controversial, and she was relentlessly criticized by politicians and the press in the United Kingdom. Not much has changed, as her son, Prince Harry, who has inherited the spirit of compassion and a caring soul from his mother, take up many of her causes. And he is relentlessly criticized by the UK toxic media.
I've had hands-on experiences before, but this working trip has been slightly different. I've had more contact with people and there's been less formalities. It's the type of programme I've been looking for some time, and I'm very happy to have done and achieved what we have here in the Red Cross.
You knew the statistics before you came, you were briefed on them, but has the reality of Angola been more shocking than you expected?
Yes, I knew the statistics, but putting a face to those figures brought the reality home to me. Like when I met Sandra, the 13-year-old girl, 2 days ago who had lost her leg. And for people like her, the rest of her life will be very different. But we must stop the landmines if we can, and a great, great deal. I've seen the people affected by landmines. I've seen the landmines themselves. Angola is an example of what the Red Cross can achieve around the world, given the sort of cooperation that we have seen that exists between the Red Cross and the NGOs and the Angolan authorities.
Can I just ask one question? It's just a sound. You'll pretend we asked this question. This has been quite a different trip. Is this the new hands-on role you see for the future?
Well, I don't know. I already answered it, Jenny.
Were you surprised at the political furore that developed as a result of your visit to Angola?
I saw it merely as a distraction because I'm not a political figure. I am a humanitarian figure. And always have been and always will be.
Wonderful group of people working out of our public service who have helped organize this conference, and I think you'd agree it's been superb. We have reasons to feel pleased about some of the very direct results. As I came to the podium, the 121st country has signed the treaty.
Princess Diana became the face of the anti-landmine movement in the 1990s. Her famous visits to Angola and Bosnia, where she walked through active minefields and met landmine victims, drew global attention to the humanitarian crisis caused by landmines. These highly publicized visits helped humanize the issue and spurred governments, including Canada, to take action. Diana's commitment to the cause gave the anti-landmine movement unprecedented visibility. She highlighted the suffering of civilians, especially children, injured or killed by landmines long after conflicts had ended. This advocacy helped bring about a surge in international support for banning landmines. While Princess Diana was not directly involved in the diplomatic process that led to the Ottawa Treaty, her advocacy work complemented Canada's efforts. Canadian Foreign Minister Lord Axworthy and the Canadian government were instrumental in negotiating and hosting in 1997 a treaty that banned landmines. The treaty became known as the Ottawa Process and marked a significant step in global disarmament efforts. Diana's influence on public opinion undoubtedly supported the Canadian government's diplomatic push for the treaty. Her high-profile involvement lent moral weight to the campaign, helping to sway international opinion in favor of the ban. Many have credited her hard work for putting pressure on world leaders to act. Princess Diana did not live to see the fruit of her dedicated hard work. She died in a car crash in Paris, France, on August 31st, 1997. Just about 3 months later, the treaty was signed in Ottawa, Canada. Her role was widely acknowledged in the aftermath. She is often credited with being one of the driving forces behind the global awareness of the landmine crisis. Her contributions were recognized posthumously by organizations like the International Campaign to Ban Landmines, the ICBL, which won the Nobel Peace Prize in 1997. The recognition extended to her advocacy work, which played a pivotal role in the global anti-landmine campaign. Princess Diana was not a royal content to remain hidden behind palace walls or play it safe. Despite the relentless attacks and misrepresentation by the UK toxic media, she consistently used her platform to bring attention to marginalized people and critical issues that had long been overlooked. Whether it was her work with landmine victims, AIDS awareness, or her compassionate engagement with the homeless, Diana's courage and humanity transcended her title. Through her fearless advocacy, she not only saved lives, but also changed the world, challenging what it meant to be a royal and leaving a legacy of compassion and global awareness. It's safe to say that we see that same drive, that same intention and execution in her youngest son and his wife, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle.
They said, stay silent, there's no place for scars. But you step forward under distant stars. When everyone discussed what's wrong or right, you followed the calling of a single light. They questioned courage, they whispered doubt, but you kept walking and the truth came out. One stranger stand opens our eyes. When we choose action for one, for all, even mountains tremble, walls will fall. Let your voice be the voice that stands in the fury of doubters. Hold hands. Every step echoes down the line. One heart beats which can redefine. Even if the world turns away, raise your truth and light the way. One voice, one heart can move the world today. Fear may whisper you're alone, but every heart has a stepping stone.
A single spark can start a blaze. A quiet word can change our day.
Let your voice be the voice that stands through silent nights or shifting sands. Every stand that breaks the mold is proof that what's righteous can be bold. If the world turns away in doubt, be the one to sing it out. One voice, one heart can move the world. Pick up the spark and let it unfurl.
Because one voice, brave and kind, has inspired over 120,000 lives to be safer. One voice.
Can move